Bounty Hunters issue 42 heads to the palace of Jabba the Hutt, where the crime lord listens to the plight of a trader from Mos Elrey. The trader is having a problem with the Trandoshan clans robbing his stores, but the Trandoshan offers the being 10% higher since he's a friend. Jabba orders the Trandoshan to be taken to the torture rooms since the trader was under his protection, but now that he's not, he is to also be killed and the Trandoshan clans can have the franchise. The men are seen off as a Gamorrean guard's helmet is thrown down the stairs by the arriving Valance, who tells Jabba that he's about to lose his appetite. Valance kills his way through Jabba's guards, confronting the Hutt and telling him that he has something that doesn't belong to him. Jabba vows to make Valance's death slow and painful, telling whomever brings him in alive will raise in his esteem and be paid 50,000 credits. Dengar tells Valance not to move since he'll do this for free. Dengar thinks that he'll enjoy carving the smug look from Valance's face, owing Valance for leaving him behind on Jakara. Valance apologizes for that, setting Dengar off even more as he proclaims that he's been trained by the gurus of the Assassin's Guild in 12 forms of bladed combat. Before he can finish his monologue, Valance smashes him in the face, apologizing for that as well as Monaro tells Dengar that she did warn him. Valance makes his way through the rest of Jabba's hunters, soon spotting the carbonite frozen Han Solo. He hopes Chewbacca will do his part of the plan as Jabba asks if he's not there to save Solo, then why did he come? Valance wants to know where his secret droid is and Jabba thinks that he's more a fool than he thought, since he's right to fear being replaced as a bounty hunter, as they are an endangered species. He tells Boba Fett to show him how endangered he is as Fett slams into Valance, noting how Valance got his memory back, so being beaten by him should feel familiar. Valance fights back as Fett unleashes his flamethrower, but it does little to stop Valance. Fett grabs Valance from behind and electrocutes him, knocking him out. Jabba begins to think how to kill Valance, thinking of feeding him to the Rancor, but Bib Fortuna suggests that the cybernetic bits of Valance could hurt the Rancor's digestive systems. Jabba slaps the Twi'lek away, as Fett suggests to give the cyborg what he came for. Jabba believes that he's right and decides to pit him against his secret weapon, calling for his guards to get the skiff ready and to take Valance to the Mos Espa Grand Arena. Later on, Valance is dumped out into the arena, woken by having water thrown on him by a skiff guard, who tells him to hurry up since they want to go on break. Valance finds a series of weapons laid out before him as a hologram of a droid welcomes him and the Pike Syndicate watching from Obadiah to their demonstration. The droid explains that they will soon see a weapon that will bring fear to the underworld, along with some healthy respect for the Hutt's place at the top of the order. Valance knows nothing is ever going to match up to a living, breathing bounty hunter as a giant blast door opens to reveal Jabba's Mega Droid, a super weapon prototype made by the Separatists before the Jedi destroyed their Mega Droid factories before they could come online. Valance opens fire with both arm cannons, but the shot bounces off thanks to the Mega Droid's Durasteel armor. Valance barely has time to grab the bubble shield behind him on the ground and block an oncoming slash from the droid, but the force of the hit smashes Valance into the grandstands. The Pikes think that this will mean they'll have to double their payments to Jabba, as Jabba's servant droid explains to Valance that Jabba tried to get the neural core of the legendary droid warrior Ajax Sigma, but it was lost, and while Jabba continued to search, he soon found a suitable replacement from the remains of a droid ship called Gertie, whose training in weapons came directly from Ajax himself. The Mega Droid unleashes a flurry of missiles at Valance, who decides that he doesn't want to fight this thing alone, revealing that he didn't actually come to the battle all by himself. Nearby, Tonga, Losha, Zuckuss and 4LOM arrive on speeder bikes, having used the Mega Droid's missile barrage as their go signal. Tonga tells the team to stick to the plan as Losha fires her modified particle beam drill blaster at the droid, slicing half a hole in its chest. The Mega Droid blasts Tonga with its heavy cannon, blowing Losha off the speeder bike and destroying her particle beam. Tonga thinks that it's time for a new plan, aiming her speeder directly at the nearby skiff and ramming it straight into it, destroying the bike, the skiff, and the guards on board. Valance tries to get in close to the Mega Droid, but it smashes him in the face with its massive Durasteel fists. Jabba believes that his weapon is working better than anticipated, as Tasu Leech tells Kanja Club that Valance is too stubborn to die, which is why the giant droid is doomed. Before the droid can stomp on Valance, 4LOM attacks it, but he too is smashed off his speeder bike by the droid. But before it can finish the job, Zuckuss rescues his partner, causing 4LOM to lament how he's still his favorite organic. Valance uses the distraction to leap up onto the droid, ripping the metal plating from the hole Losha cut into the droid's chest off. Before he can get into the neural core inside, the Mega Droid grabs his arm and rips it off. Valance counted on the droid doing that as he grabs a spear from the ground and rams it into its chest, destroying the neural core within. With the droid defeated, the bounty hunters gather together, and Tonga thinks that Boba Fett set this up nicely. Losha asks why he would even cooperate with them, and Zuckuss knows that if Valance could succeed, then Boba Fett would remain Jabba's favourite bounty hunter, not some new droid. Valance activates his comlink, telling someone that it's done and the droid has been taken off the Dejarik board, hoping since his crew held up their end of the bargain, Chewbacca will hold up his. On the Millennium Falcon, General Organa tells Valance that they will, since Han means a lot to them too. Valance cuts comms and Luke can't believe that Valance just walked into Jabba's palace and demanded to fight the deadliest droid ever built, instead of just sabotaging it like a rational person. Leia knows that Valance is one of Han's friends and far from rational. Valance and the others, meanwhile, don't think that it should be a good idea if they stick around, saying this is their goodbyes. The hunters all go their separate ways, promising to meet up again in the future. 1 week later, on the moon of Logal Re, Losha and Tonga set up camp, and Tonga listens to Losha tell her about the vast dry void in front of them that used to be crops. But soon it will remind her of the excitement they found and lost while as bounty hunters. They both begin to see a map of the small town they are going to set up, with a cantina like the one Losha used to own, and it will be a refuge for scoundrels like them, one away from the Civil War and the Empire and the Rebels. Elsewhere in the galaxy, the Rebellion and the Empire clash, and Denga and Manaru avoid stormtroopers, lamenting how they shouldn't have stolen that shipment of spicewine from an Imperial officer. IG-88 meanwhile kills his way through a group of bounty hunters, deciding to go with a dead or alive parameter this time. Tonga believes that hunters like them need a reason to keep fighting other than credits, as Vakura tells her Tuka Cat that she'll get some extra blue milk once she drops this bounty off on Navarro. As Tashu Leech kills his way through the criminal underworld and 4LOM and Zuckuss bag another bounty, Tonga tells Losha that they need a crew and community that understands them, and partners who will always have their backs. Yura meanwhile is told that despite Kondra's burns from the Imperial bombing, he is set to make a full recovery. Kel and her traitorous crew meanwhile celebrate their success with another round of drinks, but Bosk decides to take his leave, thinking that he made a terrible mistake betraying Tonga and Valance. Tonga meanwhile tells her wife that her and her brother found a home with Nakano Lash, and she wants to provide a similar connection to others. Losha reminds her that something like this costs a lot of credits, and Tonga knows that, having already found a silent partner. The couple meet up with Cadlia, who agrees to bankroll them only if they train her to be a bounty hunter like Nakano or Valance. Tonga is more than happy to, hoping the woman can see her vision of the hive of scum and villainy she wishes to create. Sometime later at the Bakonan spaceport, Hayden is caught by the Empire, who demand that she surrender peacefully. Hayden doesn't give in, kicking the officer in the face and breaking his nose. Stormtroopers overpower her as the officer demands that they kill her. Before they can though, Valance kills the troopers, telling Hayden that she is a hard person to find. Valance grabs a nearby blaster and shoots the fleeing officer in the back, telling Valance she thought she'd never see him again. Valance tells her that he was angry for a while, but then he forgot her entirely. He was hoping they could make some new memories together, thinking that this isn't going the way he rehearsed in his head. He tells her that he spent so much time missing the past he had before he nearly died on Mimban, and he almost missed out on something special right now. Hayden knows that with the Empire hunting them, they'll both be on the run forever, asking him what they are going to do. Valance offers her his hand, telling her he has no idea, but it's a galaxy full of possibilities out there, wondering if she wants to go and figure it out together.